Senate Democrats sternly denounced an inmate housing measure targeting transgender offenders. A revised House Bill 29392 would require prisoners be assigned to a facility based on their original biological sex at birth. Proponents say it'll keep men out of women's prisons and shows how the majority party stands up for women's rights. That debate begins tonight's legislative update.
I just want to speak in favor of all the women who are subjected to men who have been in their private spaces. The party that used to be such an advocate for women's rights has turned on women, and I'm proud to say that this chamber and this General Assembly has stood up for women repeatedly over and over again in regards to protecting women's sports, protecting women's private spaces, protecting women's restrooms. We will continue to do that. It is an issue of utmost importance.
But critics claim the measure is another example of how the LGBTQ community has been, quote, the whipping post of the legislative session. Lexington Senator Reggie Thomas, the Senate Democratic Caucus chair, said the proposal was cruel, unnecessary, and violates federal inmate protection law that makes transgender offenders vulnerable to sexual violence and even death. Others agreed.
We have adequate federal protections in place already under federal law to ensure the protection of transgender inmates. And this amendment, Mr. President, would indeed violate federal law. And we should never adopt any amendment that would violate federal law. More importantly, as we've had this discussion over and over again, how many people are we talking about? 67? What's the cost? Minimal? In fact, what we've seen is there's going to be no cost to this. So why are we spending our time, Mr. President, doing this rather than doing more important work for the people?
The people in this chamber are not listening to the people who elected them. There is a worm in the heart of some of the representatives here in this, not just this chamber, in both chambers. And what is precipitating it, I don't understand. But it is not your constituents. If you're going to look me in the eye and say, I have to vote this way because this is what my constituents want me to do, then read the polls. You do not have to vote this way because your constituents don't care about these issues.
Our country is founded on the basic principle of freedom, and that goes for everyone, including transgender people. They deserve the same basic protections as everyone else, and that is to live their lives with safety, privacy, dignity, and respect.
The Senate amended House Bill 392 cleared the upper chamber 31-6 and heads back to the House for approval or rejection of the Senate's changes. The House had not voted on this measure at the time we prepared tonight's broadcast.